Hi students, it's Ms.Boley here. So today I'm going to talk about using grids in art. So what is a grid? A grid is a series of crisscrossing vertical and horizontal lines. It looks something like this. So how does an artist use it? So they can help artists to reproduce or copy or enlarge or make larger a photo with accuracy. This could be a photo that the artist has taken themselves or just a photo that they want to reproduce. It could also help the artist to enlarge a drawing that they did. So grids were used as far back as ancient Egyptian times when an artist was trying to paint a tomb painting like we see in the lower corner here. They would draw their plan on a piece of papyrus paper, and then they would use a grid to enlarge it onto the wall. So you can still see the grid lines that are on this paper here. So how does it work? So this is a picture of a book by Albrecht Dürer, an artist, and he's explaining how a grid works. So here is the original picture, and here is the drawing. So as he explains it, so first you draw the grid and then you copy each square little by little, passing from square to square until you have gone over the whole picture. And you basically observe which part of the picture is in which square. So for example, this guy's nose would be 3 squares down and 4 squares in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, here's where the nose would be, and then you could go and draw that, and you go square by square. Here's another visual to show sort of how it would work. So again, if we're looking at drawing this edge of the bowl, that would be in square A2. So we would go in and draw that edge of the bowl, trying to make it go, it's going from the bottom left corner until just lower than halfway up the square. So really we're using the squares, the edges of the squares, to show us as a reference for where things should be placed in the picture. So let's have a look at me doing this process. Okay, so I have my printed out grid and I have my picture printed out. So I'm going to start on the top of Samuel de Champlain's head. So D1 is where his head starts. So I would then go to D1 on my large grid and I would just draw the top of his head. And then I'm going to look down into C2. That's where my line is supposed to go. So I'm basically using the grid as a reference to show me how big each of the things in the drawing are supposed to be, or in the painting. So here's where the edge of his hair is. So I'm in B5 for the kind of the bottom little swoop of his hair. So I'm just drawing the contour lines right now. And then his shoulders gonna go out into B6 and A6. Okay, so now I'm gonna start doing the nose now. So the nose is gonna be in D3. So I'm counting down to D3. And I can see that the eye is actually almost gonna start right in the middle of that square. I'm gonna do my best to just kind of draw the contour lines of the eye. I'm gonna start out, I can see that the little corner of his eye is in C3, so I'm going to start by drawing that. There we go. So this is one method of drawing using the grid, where we use the grid to draw the contour lines, and then we shade it as we please after we are finished. So right now I'm ignoring any of the shadows, and I'm just lightly drawing in the outlines, the contour lines. So the bottom of his nose is supposed to be in D4, in like the top half of D4. There we go. So I'm going to speed up the drawing or the pace of the video a little bit. So I'm working on the eyebrow, and the other eye. When I'm drawing one of his features, I'm not really paying attention to the other things. I'm just specifically looking in this box and what's in this box. So right there, I knew that his eyebrow was going to be in D3 and D4, and so I kind of drew a little mark to show me where the beginning and the ending would be. Okay, I know the mustache is going to start in D4 and just peek a little bit into C4. Okay, so I'm just continuing on, moving down to whatever sort of makes sense. So the mouth, and then the little goatee is going to go down into D5. So I'm just drawing the outlines. So I'm going to draw his hair and his hairline. Again, just using my grid as a reference. So now I've gotten most of every contour drawn. I even did the curtain that's in the background, and now I'm going to use my pencil. I'm grabbing some Q-tips and a pencil sharpener as well, so that I can start adding some shading, some values to this assignment. So I'm looking for areas that are very dark, and I'm shading them in with my pencil as dark as I can go. I'm starting out with the darkest values. And now we're going to switch into time lapse. So I'm doing again the darkest values and then moving to lighter and lighter. His hair and his mustache and his goatee are dark. And then I shaded in the face. And then I decided to, and I've been using Q-tips to smudge as well. I decided to switch to some pencil crayons to add colored curtain and clothing for the background. My preferred method of grid drawing. Another thing you can do is you can pick a square on your reference image and then draw it exactly as you see, filling in kind of all the shading and everything onto your drawing surface, like this. So that was Abraham Lincoln's eye in square D4. Everything is shaded, and I'm not paying attention so much to the contour lines. So you can choose either of those. So here's our reference image on the left. That highlighted square would then transfer over to my drawing surface. Then I would go on to the next square and the next square until my whole drawing was done. So either method you choose, you'll end up with an awesome and realistic looking portrait of the photo that you're trying to draw. So there's my portrait of Samuel de Champlain. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. So excited to see what you create. Thanks for watching.